Hello and welcome to Intuitive Insights. I am your host, Megan McDonough. This is where we discuss all things intuition because you are intuitive. This week, I wanted to talk a little bit about intuition versus imagination and how to tell the difference. So, and then I'm also going to explore, we're going to do a little practice together so you can hopefully see for yourself what I'm talking about. So intuition, I find, can come several ways. One, when we calm our personality and personal vibrations down, get them quiet, so that the ego voice is diminished. I just got the visual of, if you've ever seen Shiva, the dancing on a little dwarf or a little man, that is representation of the ego and squashing it or being in control of it and not allowing it to be in control of you. So yes, quieting the ego down. Once the ego is quieted down, the quiet, subtle voice of your intuition, and that intuition can have psychic connections, but the intuition is connected to the universal conversation energetically, in my opinion. But it's quiet. It's very quiet and it's very still. So one way of accessing it is through quieting our own vibrations, through practices like meditation or something like Qigong or Tai Chi or yoga, quiet yoga practice, more of a still, like restorative yoga practice. Breath work also calms the mind and the energetic vibrations of the body so that we can hear that intuitive voice with more clarity. And it's like turning down the volume outside and turning the volume up inside. So that access point, for me, sometimes comes through in more audibly, right? Then there's also a visual way to connect to intuition. And sometimes the visuals come through when everything else is quiet too. When the outside world is quiet and the inside world, the intuitive world, becomes more of the focus. So the other option, another access point to connecting with your intuition and intuitive voice is through visualization. And this is a more, I would call it like a quick fix, So like a guided visualization, which starts with anchoring the breath, anchoring the body, calming those outside noises down. But then we go on a journey. So it's like inviting the conversation in. Whereas just quieting the mind is just being present and ready for when the conversation begins. This is more requesting the conversation to start or activating it, right? This is all in my experience. So when we go through guided visualizations, sometimes it's hard to, well, we've been taught to not trust ourselves, right? And it's hard to decipher what am I just making up in my head and what is really my intuition. So there are a couple of things that I've realized and noticed that are distinct differences between what is imagination and what is intuition. So just like the voice of intuition being quiet and calm and steady and unwavering, so are the visuals. And what I mean by that is, if you have a visualization that comes through and it's very erratic, or it comes and goes quickly. For me, that tends to be imagination. The intuitive image will come forward, and if you try and get rid of it, it kind of is unwavering, just like the voice. It's quiet and steady, just like the voice. And even if you try and be like, no, I think it should be something else, it comes back and it stays. Now, having said that, I've said before and I'll say it again, the intuitive space does not house fear or any of its subfrequencies. And the other thing I wanted to say about this is that thinking also has no place in the intuitive space. It's feeling. And what I call feel, see, feel, hear, feel, and feel, know. So when we look at something in the intuitive space, there is no fear, there is no anger, there is no judgment, there is no jealousy, there is no shame, there is no guilt, there is no hatred, and there's no thinking. There's just experiencing, listening, and feeling. So, as an experiment today, I'm going to put your skills to the test and kind of define what is intuition and what is imagination for you. And how do you experience it? How do you, how are you in conversation with it? Emotionally, energetically, intuitively. So, when you're ready, find a nice, comfortable position. Seated is preferable. Supported straight spine is preferable. But if you prefer, and if your body prefers to lie down, wonderful. Just make sure that you are as straight as you possibly can. And that just helps the structure of the body, help the organs of the body work at their full capacity. Example, the breath. So, once you're in position, let's start by taking some deep breaths. A good visual for this is inhaling from the tips of the big toe all the way up to the crown of the head. And then from the crown of the head back down, exhaling all the way to the big toe. Initially, focus on making the breath, inhale and exhale equal length. Maybe a 3 or a 5 count in and a 3 or 5 count out. And then when that feels sufficient, you may naturally just fall into a double-lengthed exhale. So inhale 3, exhale 6, inhale 5, exhale 10. Slowing down the exhale helps activate the vagus nerve. It helps calm the nervous system. And it helps you anchor yourself in your body. Taking a few more breaths. And when you're ready, find yourself anchored into the center of the earth. Find yourself anchored into the center of the universe. Feel a torus shape around you that's like a donut shape around you. And just fill it with golden light. Clearing anything in your auric field and further anchoring you into yourself. So in your mind's eye, I'd like you to picture a rose in front of you, anchoring it into the earth, grounding it into the earth with its roots. And in this rose, I would like you to ask a question, something that's on your mind, on your heart, and I want you to think the answer and see what the rose does. Does it do anything? Everything is important. Now I want you to take that rose. We're going to wrap it up in a big ball of light and send it up to the sun and let it just explode into a million little pieces. And in your mind's eye, in front of you where you planted that last rose, clear the ground with some golden light. Place a new rose, anchored into the earth. And now I want you to ask that same question, whatever is on your mind or on your heart, and feel the answer and see what the rose does. Once you've gotten your answer, wrap that rose up in a big ball of light, send it to the sun, let it burst into a million pieces, clear the ground with the golden light, place a new rose in the ground, anchor it down. Now just look at the rose, ask it that same question. Whatever's on your heart, whatever's on your mind. And trust that the rose will show you your answer. What do you feel? What do you see? What happens? Once you have your answer, wrap it up in a big ball of light, send it up to the sun, let it burst into a million pieces, clear the ground with golden light. Place two roses this time next to each other. Whatever the question was that you asked, and this could be, if you didn't have a question, you can always try this with a mundane question just to practice. But ask the rose on the left, or look at the rose on the left, and place the answer of no on it, whatever the question was. And the rose on the right, place the answer of yes on it. Now ask the question again to both roses and see what they do. Feel your answer. Don't think it. If you think too much, you'll get trapped in thinking. The mind is a trap. See it with your heart. See it with feeling. And listen with your heart. When you've got your answer, wrap both of those roses up in a big ball of light, send them up to the sun, watch them burst into a million pieces, clear the earth in front of you in your mind's eye with golden light. Clear the earth in front of you in your mind's eye with golden light. And then just observe what happened. What did you notice? Could you stop thinking? When you asked the rose, did it move for you? Did it show you something? This is a really wonderful way to communicate with your intuitive self and to empower yourself to make decisions that are not fear-based and are coming from you, from your soul self. Again, all the answers will be devout of anger, of jealousy, of hatred, of judgment, of fear, of doubt, of worry, of shame. If any of those emotions come in the answer, you're thinking. Because the ego is in charge of those emotions. The heart lives in a space of love, connection, and freedom. All right, I'm very curious to see how this experiment went for you. And if you have any insights to share, please, please, please do. You can share them on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at Magnetize Your Light, or reach out to me at info@magnetizeyourlight. I'd love to hear from you. All right, I hope you have a magical week. Big buckets of love.